There's a moment that hits a lot of men later in life, just an ordinary evening. You come home, shoes off, lights on. The house is quiet enough that you can hear the fridge hum. Most men don't notice it yet, but this is usually when something important has already shifted. For a second, you notice something. You're not lonely. Your days just run without being pulled around. And the strange part is, you didn't lose sleep over anyone last night. That's usually when men misread what's actually happening to them. At some point, that silence stops feeling like avoidance and starts feeling like a decision. Most men don't say this out loud. They just live it. They protect their routine. They avoid explanations unless someone asks why they're still single. Because the question isn't really about women anymore. It's about energy, what it takes to let someone into a life that runs without friction. Here's the uncomfortable part. Some men stay single because they're protecting something valuable. Others stay single because they're tired of being disappointed. From the outside, those two look the same. From the inside, they're not. So if you've ever said, "I'm fine the way things are," pause for a second. Does that sentence feel settled or defended? Because that same calm can protect your life or make it smaller over time. That difference quietly decides whether the next few years feel lighter or smaller. Because older men don't step back from relationships for one simple reason. They do it after they've measured the cost. Let's talk about what that cost actually is. Most men don't feel it when it happens. They feel it months later when their life already looks different. The moment nothing is demanding your attention. A friend of mine told me about a night that changed something in him. It was a normal Wednesday, nothing dramatic except he realized he hadn't checked his phone once to see if anyone texted him, and that scared him more than being ignored ever did. He laughed about it later, said it felt like standing on a dock after years of rough water, suddenly noticing the waves were gone and wondering if the boat had slipped away without him. That was the moment he felt something he'd never named before. Not loneliness, not relief, but the unease that shows up when nothing is pulling you anymore. And later that night, he realized the quiet wasn't peaceful yet. It was just new territory. Where that calm came from. A few years earlier, Kevin ignored how his life finally felt and went back out there anyway. Dinner turned into debates. Debates turned into late-night texts, and late-night texts turned into mornings where he stared at the ceiling counting hours instead of sleeping. He joked that he wasn't tired from dating. He was tired from explaining himself to someone who already had a verdict. By the end, even ordering coffee felt like a debate he didn't sign up for. Back then, nothing felt wrong. That was the problem. He just noticed he was tired more often, shorter with people, and less patient with himself. That's how men lose ground while telling themselves everything is fine. What stayed with him wasn't one big blow-up. It was noticing how every small disagreement followed him into the next day, into his workouts, into how short his temper got with strangers over nothing. What he has now didn't appear by accident. It showed up after excitement started to take his focus and his patience. That's the part men usually notice too late. At the time, he didn't think he was losing anything important. It came from learning the hard way, which parts of his life stopped working once everything had to be negotiated. Most men don't realize this kind of calm only becomes valuable if they know what it's protecting. And the problem wasn't the arguments. It was how quietly they started deciding the rest of his day. The cost that leaks into everything. This shows up in places no one warns you about. At a red light, you miss the green because you're replaying a sentence that wasn't even meant to matter. Later, someone asks you a simple question, and you answer too sharp, then spend the next 10 minutes wondering why. Here's the part that hits. The argument is already over. Nothing is wrong, but your day no longer feels like it belongs to you. This is a kind of energy leak no health tracker ever records. You're sitting in an important meeting, but 30% of your mind is already drafting an explanation for why you'll be home late tonight. You're no longer fully present with yourself, even when you're standing alone in an elevator. That's when life starts making decisions for you, while you're busy thinking you still are. Not the conflict, it's how much of your attention gets slowly rerouted to places you never agreed to send it. Just your presence, your patience, your ability to be where you are. And by the time you notice that missing, it's already become normal. When attraction stops leading. One night the interest was still there, but it wasn't enough to change the next morning. It showed up, then ran into a day that was already spoken for. You can still notice the reaction when a woman catches your eye. You still notice the chemistry, the spark that used to move the entire day. But now it runs into a filter you didn't have before. Older men don't lose their instincts. They gain a reality filter. When they notice an attractive woman, they don't just see a romantic night ahead. They see the full supply chain that comes with it. Messages waiting to be answered, weekends that need to be rearranged, and a quiet life that will no longer stay untouched. They're not rejecting love. They're rejecting the cost of maintaining it once the balance starts to tilt. Nothing is wrong with wanting someone. You still want someone waiting for you when you get home. You still remember what it feels like to be close, when breathing gets a little heavier. He knew something was off the moment conversations turned into plans and expectations, and his days started feeling heavy before anything actually went wrong. He'd seen how often that feeling faded by the time the routine set in. And for many men, that's the moment things don't move forward. Not because the feeling wasn't real, but because it wasn't strong enough to outrank the life waiting on the other side. Two reasons that look the same from the outside. From the outside, two men can look identical. Both live alone. Both say they're fine. But inside, they're standing in very different places. One man stepped back because he learned the cost. He knows what keeps his days simple. He gets up, handles what needs to be done, takes care of his body, and doesn't carry other people's moods home with him. When he says no, it feels clean. No follow-up texts, no explanations, just silence and a good night's sleep. The other man stepped back because he's tired. The kind of tired that comes from wounds that never fully healed and problems from old relationships that still follow him into the present. His no doesn't feel settled. It feels like holding a door shut, hoping nothing pushes from the other side. Here's the part most people miss. Both men avoid relationships. Both protect their routines. The difference only shows up once the noise is gone. One man's life settles into a rhythm that doesn't shake him anymore. People see him as solid, sharp, full of energy. Keanu Reeves, a well-known actor who lost much of what people usually chase, lived quietly for years and let people read into it however they wanted. The other man hasn't made peace with being alone yet. He grows grounded around people, speaks less, and slowly pulls back, even when no one asks him to. And if you're honest, you already know which one you've been standing closer to. Most men don't argue with that line. They just sit with it longer than they expected. Why people keep asking? At some point, the questions start coming, not because something is wrong, but because your life no longer fits the script people expect. A coworker asks why you're still single. A family member asks why you seem so at ease being alone. Most of the time, it's not concern, it's projection. They can't imagine being steady without leaning on someone, so they assume something must be wrong with you. Your calm becomes a mirror, and not everyone likes what it reflects. You notice it in small moments. A pause after you say you're fine, a look that seems to be sizing you up lingers a second longer. The conversation shifts quickly, as if they were expecting you to crack and complain, not stay composed. Marcus still remembers clearly the way the neighbor's smile faded when he answered, "I'm busy walking my dog. I haven't made time for dating." So you stop correcting people, not because you gave up, but because you see it clearly now. Not out of bitterness, not out of pride, but because you've learned something simple. Your response makes it clear they picked the wrong person to test. And once you see that, The pressure fades. You don't owe anyone a justification for a life that finally feels honest. A lot of men realize this late, and once they do, they stop explaining forever. If any part of this matched your experience, a simple like, lets me know this perspective reached the right men. If you ever step back in, it can't be the same. When a man steps into a relationship again, it's rarely planned. It usually starts on a normal night. Someone he knows shows up and the conversation is more interesting than expected. If he comes in unprepared, it looks like this. There's excitement at first, then arguments. It ends cold, and your wallet feels it. That's what happened to Marcus. After 2 years alone, he thought getting close again meant he was moving forward. 3 weeks later, his mood was swinging with someone else again, and his mind was busy all the time. He hadn't changed his life. He just changed whose mood it revolved around. It wasn't panic this time. It was the moment the pattern finally showed itself. These days, Marcus notices something before he ever steps in. If the other person disappeared tomorrow and his day collapsed, he knew the answer without needing to name it. That's why most men hesitate the second time. Not because they fear closeness, but because they've already seen where ignoring these signs leads. He dates only when it's not about filling a void, but about meeting someone who respects his life and doesn't expect him to rearrange it. If you don't step back in, this is what matters. Staying single isn't the same as shutting down. It's not about avoiding life or shrinking your world. It's about what you do with the space you've protected. Kennedy is an interior designer. Since living alone, he says he's less distracted, his designs are sharper and more creative, and he finishes projects early. He even has time to volunteer twice a month now, something he could barely manage before. Your life doesn't get louder, it starts answering to you again. And for men who've been drained before, that clarity feels less like freedom at first and more like not being used up anymore. That's also why some people hope you'll get lonely again. Connection doesn't go away. You simply choose healthier relationships that don't ask for too much. Joining a casual sports club, taking a dance class, or going on short trips, spaces where your interests are actually met. Places where you're more likely to meet people who are interesting, grounded, and real. What you stop doing is spending your energy proving you're available. If you're not building a life around someone else, you're responsible for building one that still feels alive. And when that's done right, being alone doesn't feel like a lack. It feels like your life answering to you. That's the kind of quiet strength we talk about here on Move or Die Stoic. The choice most men never make consciously. At the end of all this, there isn't a right answer. There's only a choice most men drift into without ever naming it. And drifting feels safe, right up until you realize years passed without you deciding anything. Some men keep reaching because they're afraid of being alone. Others stop reaching because they're afraid of losing themselves. Both paths look similar from the outside. Inside, they feel very different. It's not about being single or getting back into a relationship. It's about whether you're choosing from a clear head or from stuff you never dealt with. To be honest, when emotions run high, it's easy to mistake control for care. And once you see that, going back doesn't feel romantic anymore. It feels like choosing comfort over clarity. Some men know exactly what that line means. They don't explain it. They just recognize it. Kevin found his focus, Marcus found his clarity, and Kennedy found his creative fire. They didn't find these things in a relationship. They found them in the space where a relationship used to be. They'll welcome someone who respects their life, but if no one comes along, it doesn't break anything. They're already complete. A life that leaves you alone can give you space, but it can also turn into somewhere you hide if you stop being honest with yourself. That line matters, and it doesn't announce itself loudly. Most men never sit with that difference long enough to feel it. They just keep moving, hoping time will sort it out for them. It's like realizing the gate was never locked. You just never tried the handle. But once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. And from that point on, whatever you choose carries a different kind of responsibility, not to anyone else, to yourself. This isn't about choosing the right path. It's about finally choosing with your eyes open. Some men stay single and grow sharper, steadier, more alive. Others stay single and slowly disappear into routines that no longer challenge them. Some step back into relationships and build something solid. Others do it to escape a silence they never learned how to sit with. From the outside, all of it can look the same. From the inside, you always know. So don't ask what you should do next. Ask what your life feels like when no one is watching. Ask whether your calm is giving you room to breathe or asking you to look closer. Time becomes the only currency you can earn back. Spending it on a life with less friction isn't selfish. It's stewardship of the years you have left. If you value conversations like this, subscribing keeps you in this space without noise. Because in the end, the real cost isn't being alone. And it isn't being with someone. It's living on autopilot when you finally have the awareness to choose otherwise.